So I wanted to do a little bit of a different video today. Clearly, I've been trying out new stuff. I want to talk about that as well. But basically, what I want to focus this video on is kind of just my honest thoughts on where the next 6 to 12 months. I think probably it's very possible that even, next 18, potentially 2 years. But just being, I guess, a little conservative, I'm pretty unfortunately confident of the next 6 months, at least what I think, at least the direction we're heading. And we're going to zoom out. The reason I have this pulled up right here, uh, this isn't really what I want to look at, but I want to start here and zoom out and kind of just show you what I've been thinking for the past. I want to say, I want to say realistically the past 2 to 3 months, maybe even longer, but I've been very confident in it for the past month or so, and it's very contradictory to the videos on my channel. So what I mean by that is, well, I want to start off as well. I'm a very big believer in being positive, and I'm a very big believer in, I guess, throwing out thoughts and ideas that you wish to come true. Just stuff like the law of attraction. It works in a lot of other stuff in my life. Obviously, I didn't really expect it to work at all with the cryptocurrency market. However, putting positive energy out there in general, I feel like is a good way to approach life and things. And now I think, I can't speak for everybody that has made a YouTube video on cryptocurrency, but I think for the most part, people can agree with that. I think that overwhelmingly people try to be positive in the crypto market. I think I've been making videos for coming up on 11 months now. And for at least a good 8 to 9 of those 11 months, essentially I was just completely positive. And I think that translates to bullish as well sometimes in this market. But I just tend to be more positive in life in general, in things not related to crypto as well. So when I apply it to crypto, it definitely takes on the form of being bullish, right? But I think one thing for sure that I was grappling with, I guess you could say, is just not wanting to be negative. Because there was a point, I guess you could even go back, if we just look at the chart in this area, there's a point here where it was, people would argue, but it's valid enough to be 50-50. There were some people calling for a huge breakdown, and there were a lot of people calling for a breakout eventually. And I was trying to kind of agree and fit with the positive perspective, which was going up. Now, one thing I definitely know is true, that most people in the crypto community on YouTube, at least, try to be positive. That's what people like in general, especially in a very long bear market. After this last breakdown, I think those things might have changed. I think that's why it's a little different. And again, that's why I'm coming to you with this video. To be frank, I think people are afraid to post super bearish things. I think people are afraid to post very negative things. And in my case, that definitely was the case. I didn't want to post something like, oh guys, we're going to go to $1,500 Bitcoin. Litecoin's going to go down to like $10. I definitely had those thoughts, right, over the past few months, but I have plenty of thoughts. I also had thoughts that Bitcoin would go to, $20,000 within a month or two, or Litecoin going to $600 within a month or two. So it wasn't anything like I knew a drop was coming, but I definitely had a feeling, and I definitely could see it happening. And I'm sure, a lot of people could. And I think it goes a little deeper than it could just go up or down or something like that. And that's what I kind of want to get into. That's why I'm going to zoom out and say basically what I think is going to happen. I want to make a case for it. And it won't even take that long when I get to that point. But again, I just want to say all of this stuff beforehand to kind of frame the perspective of where I'm coming from. And I guess the last thing before I do get into that is that without a doubt, 100%, the fundamentals, I know you hear this a lot. You don't hear it from me necessarily as much because I haven't talked about it in a few weeks at least. But Bitcoin, Litecoin, cryptocurrency in general, and when I say Bitcoin, generally I'm referring to cryptocurrency as well. So if I say like Bitcoin, I'm also kind of just referring to the entire space of crypto. They have never really been more solid. They've never been better. The technology has never been better. So in that sense, I am more confident than ever in the actual stuff, which is good. So in that sense, I don't feel bad. I'm upset that like people might have bought in at 20,000 and now they're down a lot. But at the same time, I don't feel that bad because I know that it'll come back eventually. The question or the key is like when though, right? So yeah, like I said, I just wanted to say that first. If you are invested in cryptocurrency, even though you are down right now, most likely, unless you invested like pre-2017, if you're invested right now, I still think it's a very smart move. I wouldn't advise necessarily, I can't advise investing to begin with, but I wouldn't advise necessarily buying in now. I don't necessarily think this is the best time to buy in. It could be. This is definitely a way better time to buy in than, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's very possible, though, that we have much better buying opportunities. So I guess even if you're going to get a peek into what I'm doing a little bit, I think it maybe would be smart to buy now, but I definitely do think that at least what I'm going to be doing, saving. I'm going to be waiting because I think there might be much better buying opportunities ahead. So that kind of leads me into the title of the video. And then I also want to talk about, for example, yesterday's videos and just the last few videos, and kind of the point of them and what my direction and goal of them is. But yeah, primarily I want to do what I'm about to do now. So if we zoom out here, now I'm not saying this is accurate at all, but this was the last bear market, and it just generally traded in this downward trend for it looks like it peaked right around the end of 2013, very similar to the end of 2017, and it didn't really get out of that until really, I guess, the end roughly of 2015. Now I applied kind of just the same to this, and again, these are never accurate. Nobody knows. You can't predict, but just say for example that would happen now, and kind of just tossing this aside anyway. If we would think something like this would happen, realistically, I don't, that pattern does not seem natural. It doesn't really seem possible to begin with. And what would that be? That would essentially mean that we would get back to all-time highs towards the end of 2019. And this kind of seems not accurate, right? It doesn't seem like this would be a pattern that looks natural. It doesn't look like something that would fit on this chart. I mean, it's always possible, but after this last essentially completely vertical drop from like 6,000, 6,300 down to currently like 3,700. Again, it's always possible that we shoot up in a fashion similar to this, but this is even somewhat of a generous curve, and even this looks pretty unrealistic. So my point of this being that this is a very probably unpopular opinion, which is why I guess I hesitate putting it out, which is why most people I don't think really put things out. I know for a fact that there are people on YouTube that have been calling for very bearish scenarios for a long time now, and they're proven to be right. It was the minority, definitely the minority of YouTubers calling for very bearish moves. 2,500, 2,000 price of Bitcoin. It's definitely the minority, the people that get on every day and basically saying, guys, you know what? We're going to 2,000, we're going to 1,500, we're going to 2,000. Confidently. It's definitely a minority, but I do know for a fact there are people that do that and have said that. And so far, again, they've proven to be right. But yeah, the reason I say this is this is an unpopular opinion, I guess, and the reason it's unpopular really is because it means that it will take longer for you to make money. And that's all it boils down to. It'll take longer for you to get your money back or to make money to begin with. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't go down to maybe 2,500, 1,500, and then shoot back up to 4,000 in a month, and you could make crazy profits that way. But I'm talking about actually getting back to all-time highs, and really, if we do get Bitcoin back to $20,000, I really don't think it would stop there. It would probably go to 30, 40, 50,000, because getting to those landmarks would be indicative of a major bullish reversal, right? So that's when things would really be picking up. The next time Bitcoin hits $20,000, I have no doubt in my mind that it's not stopping at 20,000. It'll probably go much, much higher than that, but there's so many key resistances that it would have to break to even get to that point to begin with. And I guess to answer the question, the title of the video, my honest thoughts on Bitcoin's price over the next 6 to 12 months, I think we are probably in for a lot more downside. If not downside, then maybe trading sideways. But again, I'm not super confident saying that, but what I am confident in saying is that I really don't think that we'll see 20,000 US dollars within the next 6 months, $20,000 Bitcoin in the next 6 months. Again, I know that's unpopular. I know that's what you don't want to hear. But if I'm going to be making a video on the price of it, I can't really try to convince myself otherwise anymore. Like I said, I was trying to be positive. I wanted everyone to be positive as well. I just want people in general to have a good take on everything and be excited for things. And there's no reason not to be excited, right? Again, this gets overstated all of the time. This is a great buying opportunity. And it really is. Even now, even if it goes another $1,000, $2,000 lower in Bitcoin price and everything else drops, the equivalent of that to the respective cryptocurrencies, still great buy-ins, still great opportunities. However, we're not in the conditions for something like this. That run-up, which was insane. In particular, the end of November to the end of December 2017 was absolutely vertical. And you can see the conditions that led up to that. Legitimately 2 to 3 years of upward momentum of a bull market before that happened. And guys, that's just simply not what we're in right now. And I didn't want to believe it for a long time. We kind of had to wait to see what the next moves were. But I really do think as of, I guess, the 9th of November, so pretty recently, just a few weeks ago, I think it goes without saying now that we have some time to wait. Whether or not this channel is accurate and we'll be trading in here for a while, I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's super important, but I do think that the general thought that, we have some time before we're going to go up is intact. And I think, unfortunately, as much as none of us want to hear it, as much as I don't want to say it, that's most likely the case. Again, I don't feel bad for anyone because this is still such a crazy, awesome thing to be a part of, and I do think long term it's going to be incredibly rewarding, like it has been in the past. It's just right now, these are not the market conditions for making people rich, right? We just don't have those market conditions. So in that sense, I am bearish for the next 6 to 12 months. And I guess maybe you can see why I wouldn't want to make daily videos, since that is now my true opinion. It's not that I've given up at all. That's my point of coming on and that's my point of coming on and doing this video, is because I'm just trying to give you my frame of mind here. And I've tried doing like comedy things, switching things up, because I do think they're funny, but I totally understand why that might not be welcome for a few reasons. One, I've built a channel based on doing stuff like this. Two, it's very possible some of those videos might not have been that funny. In particular, the one I uploaded yesterday, there was a 1.5-minute scene of me cooking eggs that wasn't even filmed the same day the rest of it was. But I just added it on there and put some music to try and make it a little longer because it was only like 3 minutes. And two, if we're being realistic here, cryptocurrency audiences on YouTube are probably some of the most depressed, dejected, least open to new idea community of any community on YouTube. And that's not really an insult, it's just that no other community on YouTube has really invested a bunch of money and seen it decrease in value over the last year. So I totally understand that as well. But I do like going that route. I'm going to try and be funnier in the future. I'm going to, maybe spice it up, mix things in, do this and that. I'm just trying to really have fun with things. But realistically, I think we do have some more downside. And if not downside, at least we have some time here where we are. I don't think we're going to bounce straight up to $15,000 Bitcoin in the next month. I don't think that's going to happen. And realistically, guys, if you look at this trend, that wouldn't make any sense at all. We can just draw that really quickly to see what that would look like if we bounced even 2 months from now to 15,000. It would look like this. That just doesn't look natural at all. That doesn't look possible. And realistically, I don't think that's really ever happened, especially in a bear market. We don't see things like that. So it's just not realistic. Again, this probably is not going to be a very popular video, but I want to come on, just give you my honest thoughts on everything. I still do think it's a very smart play buying and being involved in the space without a doubt. The space is growing. There's so much cool stuff happening. But just in terms of price, I think we have some time to go. And I could be wrong. There could be some great news that comes out and saves everything and changes the entire momentum of everything. It would have to be some pretty darn good news, but it's possible. You never know. But that's just my opinion. That's what I see happening. I just wanted to put this out there. And I also haven't made one of these regular videos in a while. And this one was kind of refreshing to make anyway, because it was just me kind of telling you how I feel about everything. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Again, I know it's not going to be popular, so if you could, give me a like. Likes and dislikes are both viewed the same by YouTube. They both promote your content. Likes and dislikes are both better than not hitting like or dislike. But I would prefer a like if you could. And yeah, if you want to, feel free to subscribe. I think there's a lot to be happy about, but if you're going to base your happiness solely on price, I think you're probably going to be waiting a little bit to see. I don't think price is going to be going up anytime soon, I guess you could say.